One of America's greatest humorists and writers, Samuel Langhorne Clemens was born in 1835. Who is better known by his pen name Mark Twain. Mark Twain's quotations are still frequently recited offhand around the world. The number of Mark Twain quotations that turn up in Google search results may surprise you. The author's ideas are still very relevant today even though they were expressed more than a century ago. More than just wise words were left behind by Mark Twain. Twain's ideas are still important today since he had an impact on both American culture and the canon of American literature. His writings questioned and clarified a variety of 19th century American problems, including as racism, imperialism, restrictions based on class, access to education, and a plethora of other problems. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up. Go to heaven for the climate, hell for the company. The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause. It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. It's no wonder that truth is stranger than fiction. Fiction has to make sense. It is curious that physical courage should be so common in the world and moral courage so rare. Thousands of geniuses live and die undiscovered, either by themselves or by others. When we remember we are all mad, the mysteries disappear and life stands explained. A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read. Do the thing you fear most and the death of fear is certain. All emotion is involuntary when genuine. In the first place, God made idiots. That was for practice. Then he made school boards. Don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Education consists mainly of what we have unlearned. Let us not be too particular. It is better to have old second-hand diamonds than none at all. I am an old man and have known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't. When a person cannot deceive himself, the chances are against his being able to deceive other people. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. It usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. The public is the only critic whose opinion is worth anything at all. Wrinkles should merely indicate where smiles have been. Truth is the most valuable thing we have. Let us economize it. Don't let schooling interfere with your education. The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. In the spring, I have counted 136 different kinds of weather inside of 24 hours. It is by the goodness of God that in our country we have those 3 unspeakably precious things: freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and the prudence never to practice either of them. Against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. Grief can take care of itself, but to get the full value of a joy you must have somebody to divide it with. A man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. I don't give a damn for a man that can only spell a word one way. When I was younger I could remember anything, whether it happened or not. God made the idiot for practice, and then he made the school board. If the world comes to an end, I want to be in Cincinnati. Everything comes there 10 years later. Apparently there is nothing that cannot happen today. The man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. Be careless in your dress if you must, but keep a tidy soul. My mother had a great deal of trouble with me, but I think she enjoyed it. Lord save us all from old age and broken health and a hope tree that has lost the faculty of putting out blossoms. All generalizations are false, including this one. The finest clothing made is a person's own skin, but, of course, society demands something more than this. Soap and education are not as sudden as a massacre, but they are more deadly in the long run. The trouble ain't that there is too many fools, but that the lightning ain't distributed right. The more things are forbidden, the more popular they become. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. To be good is noble, but to show others how to be good is nobler and no trouble. Do not tell fish stories where the people know you, but particularly, don't tell them where they know the fish. The human race is a race of cowards, and I am not only marching in that procession but carrying a banner. Part of the secret of a success in life is to eat what you like and let the food fight it out inside. The human race has one really effective weapon, and that is laughter. When you fish for love, bait with your heart, not your brain. The difference between the almost right word and the right word is really a large matter. 'Tis the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. Why is it that we rejoice at a birth and grieve at a funeral? It is because we are not the person involved. The only way to keep your health is to eat what you don't want, drink what you don't like, and do what you'd rather not. But who prays for Satan? Who, in 18 centuries, has had the common humanity to pray for the one sinner that needed it most? The man who is a pessimist before 48 knows too much. If he is an optimist after it, he knows too little. Only kings, presidents, editors, and people with tapeworms have the right to use the editorial we. Thunder is good, thunder is impressive, but it is lightning that does the work. Never pick a fight with people who buy ink by the barrel. Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please. Civilization is the limitless multiplication of unnecessary necessities. Laws control the lesser man. Right conduct controls the greater one. Only one thing is impossible for God, to find any sense in any copyright law on the planet. The very ink with which history is written is merely fluid prejudice. Patriotism is supporting your country all the time, and your government when it deserves it. Man will do many things to get himself loved, he will do all things to get himself envied. A person with a new idea is a crank until the idea succeeds. India has 2 million gods and worships them all. In religion, all other countries are paupers, India is the only millionaire. Good friends, good books and a sleepy conscience, this is the ideal life. A man is never more truthful than when he acknowledges himself a liar. Be careful about reading health books. You may die of a misprint. Giving up smoking is the easiest thing in the world. I know because I've done it thousands of times. Man is the only animal that blushes, or needs to. Life would be infinitely happier if we could only be born at the age of 80 and gradually approach 18. Do the right thing. It will gratify some people and astonish the rest. Good breeding consists in concealing how much we think of ourselves and how little we think of the other person. Man was made at the end of the week's work, when God was tired. Optimist, daydreamer more elegantly spelled. It is better to deserve honors and not have them than to have them and not deserve them. All you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure. We have the best government that money can buy. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. It's good sportsmanship to not pick up lost golf balls while they are still rolling. The lack of money is the root of all evil. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. To refuse awards is another way of accepting them with more noise than is normal. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Humor is mankind's greatest blessing. Honesty is the best policy, when there is money in it. When people do not respect us, we are sharply offended, yet in his private heart no man much respects himself. The main difference between a cat and a lie is that a cat only has 9 lives. Truth is mighty and will prevail. There is nothing wrong with this, except that it ain't so. I was gratified to be able to answer promptly, and I did. I said I didn't know. Biographies are but the clothes and buttons of the man. The biography of the man himself cannot be written. It is better to take what does not belong to you than to let it lie around neglected. A round man cannot be expected to fit in a square hole right away. He must have time to modify his shape. When angry, count 4. When very angry, swear. Golf is a good walk spoiled. All kings is mostly rapscallions. Its name is public opinion. It is held in reverence. It settles everything. Some think it is the voice of God. Whoever has lived long enough to find out what life is, knows how deep a debt of gratitude we owe to Adam, the first great benefactor of our race. He brought death into the world. Like and subscribe to this life-changing YouTube channel for more great insightful videos.